motherfucker. All right. God damn it.
Are we on the
Okay.
air? Are we
Okay.
live?
Don't pat.
Conspiracy crib. And real quick, because StreamYard is this shit is ghetto. So when you're not talking, just try to mute your mic if you can. So it picks up the audio and everything. But you know what I'm saying? We gonna welcome Kelly up in here. Okay. And so yeah, I appreciate y'all pulling up and making time. This is episode 1 of Conspiracy Crib. It's more like this ain't gonna be like a debate show or a show where everybody's trying to be right and shit like that. It's just about what I feel are some of the most genuine, unbiased, truth seekers, that I've come across in my travels. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate y'all coming up on here. But I did want to ask this question before we get into anything else. Like, there's this narrative now. I don't really like calling them NPCs, but it's like these lower conscious level individuals. They're talking about, well, damn, they're late to the party. They're saying, oh well, conspiracy theorists were right all the time. So I'm gonna let Kelly go. I'm gonna let Kelly answer this question first, but do you feel any like validation from that at all, or is it kind of like what are your thoughts on that, this whole narrative that conspiracy theorists were right all along? And also, do you have like a favorite philosopher at all? Let me see. You up in here, Kelly? You might be muted. Oh, there you go. Okay.
Yeah, I think I put myself backstage again.
Did you hear the question?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, to me, I mean, this is going to sound like, oh my God, but to me, it's not about being right or feeling validated or justified. It's about honestly just want to know what the truth is. In other words, I'm not like, oh, I thought this all along, like what you were saying. That's what you were asking, basically, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So basically, what you're saying is you probably feel the same way I do. It's not whether you're right or wrong, and the idea that that's even out there almost feels like another psyop.
Yep. Yeah, that's true. Because when sometimes when people are like, okay, you were right, and I'm like, I don't want to be right. I just want, it is what it is, But when you said the thing about philosopher, I can't even remember this guy's name now. I think it's Professor Jiang. I don't know if you guys
I
have you
love.
heard it?
I'm pretty sure
Professor John.
I've been sending everybody videos of him. He came out of nowhere. I've been
Well, I
listening to
Yeah.
him.
know, and
I've
like
been
All
listening
he
right,
to him
nigga,
for
talk
like a
about
year.
China. Talk about China. Quit talking about my own government. I know my government best. I'm talking about you.
really, I just like found out about him, but man, he really. I love the fact that he called the whole what's going on right now through game theory. It's pretty funny.
Yeah, and he's getting a lot of views, and he makes a lot of sense. He broke down the Strait of Hormuz. I don't know how to say that word, but he broke down the Strait of Hormuz, and he broke down how the GCC and everything, and how they're basically trying to go after the import. They're trying to. They said I think he said 80% of the food that comes through there for
Yeah,
the GCC.
that's scary. He's
So,
basically, I mean, it's kind of depressing, but at the same time, I personally would rather, not that I'm saying he's 100% right, but I would rather have an idea of what's coming rather than being in ignorant bliss.
all right, we pass it to you, Rich. What are your thoughts on this narrative that the free thinkers or critical thinkers are right all the time, and do you have a favorite philosopher?
Uh, no, no, I don't. I don't have a favorite philosopher. And see, The way I look at this is if you have any emotion towards anything that's going on, whether they're giving you the idea of lack, they've been giving you the idea of lack ever since the 13th, 8th century. It's the best game they use. The idea that you're in a lack, the idea that look over there. When they start doing this, you're going to start suffering over here. You might not see it right now, but it's coming. Don't worry, it's coming. You're going to starve. You're going to die. But I can go out here in my backyard and I can plant a garden. But most people would rather run around worrying about whether they're going to eat, whether they're going to have gas in their car, than to uh, get up off their lazy ass and do what it takes to where they don't have to worry about what the government or the system, the structure is doing to you, right? And that's it's kind of like that video where they talk about lazy people. Lazy people are stupid. Well, they'd rather fucking suffer than to go out and to get the knowledge that it takes to end all suffering, right? Liberation. That's what knowledge means is liberation. See, the suffering's in here. It's not out here. If you see a war out here, it's only because there's a war in here, right? If you're fighting with yourself, then you're not taking care of what you need so that you don't have to worry about the idea of a lack. Okay, so yeah, we're over there, we're bombing some shit over there. I mean, what's the worst case scenario? What's the worst thing that could happen? They could drop bombs on us, right? And who would want to live through that shit? If the idea is that you know what they're gonna have food shortages and shit. I mean, I plant a garden, stock up on some food, so that way if a shortage comes, you're prepared for it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that it might be a situation where they just make it impossible. I was talking to Sean and he made a great point. He connected something that I wasn't thinking about as far as he was like, well, you see, if we go to war and it's gonna affect, us getting food and stuff like that. He was like, why you think they making all this 3D printed food and stuff like that? I was like, damn, because it might be a time where we just don't have access to real animals and stuff like that anymore.
Yeah, it's a good point. I mean, uh, that's like remember when I used to tell you that, as far as whenever they when you had Black Lives Matter, you had all Antifa, you had all these, they wanted to defund the police. And I said, all this is order out of chaos. So they're going to create the chaos. You're going to cry for order. And what are they going to give you in return? What have we gotten in return from this? They defunded the police. Well, just in my town, I got more flock cameras. We got drones running around watching people.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, they would love to defund the police because the fact is hell, they got all kinds of free shit out there just flying around or cameras watching you, and that's less police they got to pay for.
But that's like we become the police. We become the.
Oh, hey, I know that. Hey, I could give you a perfect example of that. So I broke my arm back in June, and so I'm pretty much healed up from it. But when I went to get my DOT physical, the first thing that the doctor did was send me a letter in the mail saying that before I could get my DOT physical to go back to work, and if without the DOT physical, I couldn't drive a truck no more. So he was policing me, saying that if I didn't get a record showing that I was able to go back to work, he wouldn't give me my DOT physical. All your fucking records, every bit of it, is online. But he had to send me a letter, so here I have to go running around trying to find this form from another doctor stating that I was released to go back to work. And not only that, so they dropped me off my blood pressure medicine. I was on blood pressure medicine. But whenever they dropped me off my blood pressure medicine, well, they didn't go in there and put it in the records. So instead of getting a 2-year physical, I now have a 1-year physical. because if anybody has any type of heart conditions or hypertension, they automatically only gonna give you 1 year. But shit, when you go in there to see them doctors, they just ask you a bunch of questions and then you're out the door with that DOT physical. But if he fucks something up, then he has to answer to the Department of Transportation. You get what I'm saying? So it's just as well as like old Monograph used to say that it's becoming an internet of things. They don't need police out here on the streets anymore. They'll just police you from inside your own house.
Hmm. I'm gonna pass it to Hurricane. Hurricane, what are your thoughts on this narrative that, and do you feel like you ever would have seen this in your lifetime where they're saying that the conspiracy theorists were right, and do you have like a favorite philosopher? You muted Hurricane.
Oh, yo. For the people that said that I was right, I want my apology. But I know I'm not gonna get it, so fuck it. But I think my favorite philosopher will probably be Bruce Lee. If not Bruce Lee, it'll be that Samurai Musashi or some shit like that. It was like, like with Bruce Lee, it just like we gotta be like water, or like, like controlling your emotions and shit, cause like that's the greatest superpower and shit. And plus all his studies and teachings. And like with Musashi, it's like just like learning how to adapt, like adapt to any motherfucking scenario and survive and destroy your enemy. And damn, like I got a lot of nice philosophers, but I could probably say those two and probably Earl Nightingale and Carl Jung and Alan Watts and Friedrich Nietzsche and Machiavelli and some motherfucker that was talking about the real intentions on, damn, what the fuck the other guy name? Well, I forgot. Oh, Sigmund Freud. I'm not sure. But it's a lot of them. It's a lot of them.
A lot of
But
times
I
I
don't
want.
want to be right though. I don't want to be right. I'm just following patterns. I'm just following patterns.
Yeah, see, to be right or wrong is just a duality of emotions, right? So I'm just an observer, and
Hmm.
it don't mean that I don't get caught up in the shit, but knowing that I can detach myself and be from an observer standpoint, even though I might get caught up in the game, I can step back and be like, oh, yo, oh, I see they done got me caught up in this shit again. I can move back into the observer, right? And detach myself from the bullshit because, you know, that it's all a game. Yeah, I mean, no matter what anybody says, you can't prove any of it. That
Yeah.
everything that we'll ever get is all secondhand knowledge. The only thing that you can have proof of is how you feel about it.
Yup. Yup.
That's
And
real. Go ahead, Rich. Go ahead.
and you was bringing up Bruce Lee. One great thing, I've seen a video of Bruce Lee, and when they asked him about fighting, and see, he was talking about being in the observer standpoint, and he said when it hits all by itself, right? I don't know if you've seen the video, but
Yup. It is all by itself. The
see,
art of
so
fighting. The
that's
art of
that's
fighting.
right. See, and a lot of people don't really understand how deep that goes. Okay, so when you walk down the fucking road, do you say left foot forward, right foot bend? Do you use language to move your foot? Do you even have to think out moving down the road? When you're walking down the road, or if you have to describe it to somebody, you have to think it all out, right? And in order to describe walking down the road, you also have to describe the platform on which you're walking on, don't you?
Yup.
It, ta- it, ta- it takes a lot of energy, something that comes natural, right? See,
Yup.
See, we're trying to put things into words that are automatically natural. You ever? It's like driving a standard transmission. When you first get in a fucking car and you're like shifting through the gears and shit, you're pushing in on the clutch, you're dumping the clutch and you're jerking and shit and you're fighting it and you're like you're trying to think it all out. But then after a little while, you're like about probably about the point that you think you ain't never gonna fucking get it. That's when you get it, right? And after that, if you've ever drove a standard, you can never dump a clutch the same way again and get the whole fucking car shuddering and fucking bucking, right? Because you've never used that thought process before. The whole idea that we think about things is what fucks things up instead of living from the observer standpoint. It's kind of like the song that you just made, right? You're this, you're that, you're fucking everything. You are everything, and you don't give a fuck.
Bars.
You're gonna, and you know what? And you're gonna be free to act out everything that you want to be, without judgment of the actions that you're gonna have, right? So that puts you in a state of being whole, doesn't it? You understand what I'm saying,
Yup.
Loki?
Yup. Yup.
See,
Bars.
God. If you look back, you look at David, and if you look at Ezekiel in the Bible, they was both sinners and saints. See, God wasn't looking for somebody to fix their sin, and He wasn't looking for saintlyhood. He was looking for wholeness. Wholeness.
Yup. Yup. Moses killed the motherfucking dip. Like, oh shit, I killed the nigga. Get the fuck up out of here.
See, but that's the thing about it is we're taught to fight against ourselves. Oh, I'm not supposed to think that way. If you get mad at yourself for getting mad, how mad are you then?
Woo.
See, because
Woo.
okay, so you get mad and you think being mad is not good, so you run from the idea of being mad. If you're scared, oh my God, I shouldn't be scared. Motherfuckers see I'm scared. God damn, now I'm mad because I'm scared.
Yup. Now I'm
It's
crying.
like,
Now I'm mad because I'm crying in front of everybody.
yeah, yeah. That's a bad case of anxiety. It's like being in a goddamn room with mirrors and you can't find the fucking door, right?
Yup.
Ain't nothing worse than that. But even whenever like you're in any state, like you see what's going on out there, and you start to react to what's going on out there, you're pulling up emotions. Well, that's 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 the fucking matrix. Who was the creatrix? You're the creatrix of the matrix, right? It's kind of like in Hindu mythology. So if when you're sitting in the dead ass center of who you are, you have no words, no thought. You're just sitting there as an observer of everything going on around you, right? You're dead in the center
Yup.
of flow, right? So then when you bring up a word or a thought, all right, now you're entering into the game of Maya, the illusion, the play. So you're thinking about something. And then you look outside you and you see like somebody walk by, kind of like the lady in the red dress in the Matrix. So what do? You eyeball that and you get caught up on that, and then you start to have a thought about that, right? See, all that is going moving back and forth through the stages of the Matrix, the illusion, but knowing that your Brahma or
Yup.
God is moving dead back in the center and detaching yourself from the game all completely, right? You're moving out of it and standing in an observer standpoint. So the battle doesn't start until
Yup.
you start having an emotion about it. And then you got to think about the emotions that you're having. And then you start struggling with these emotions instead of just, hey, the film strip, let's just say this film strip lasts from up there around say Las Vegas to Florida, right? And that's the movie. Can you change the film strip? No, it's already been played out, right? Everything's already being played out. There's nothing any of us are going to do to change anything that's already out there, right? All you can do is ride along. You can either enjoy the ride or sit there and struggle with it. Is this making sense?
Yep, yep. Makes a lot of sense. I'm about to flip the board
So
over.
so you brought up Rich brought up, you know, even he's capable of getting, you know, caught up, but he you know, he catches himself. So just mute your mic for me.
Yep, yep.
So when it comes to like you, Kelly, you know, when you find yourself getting caught up, because it's a lot of, we talk about a lot of this horrific shit that these people are doing, you know, behind the scenes, and when you feel yourself getting caught up, how do you you know, detach from that type of, you know, detach from that energy, or how do you calm your nervous system?
Um, I would say, uh, I mean, one thing that I really like is not that you know it's the only way to be, but being stoic and observing and basically trying to take everything in and not react first, because I think, I mean, honestly, that's the only thing we have control over is our own selves and how we react to situations. And because, you know, I think to myself, imagine if they, like we're talking about, like something happens over here. I think I've talked to you about this before, and they say it's a nuke, but it's not. And just the absolute terror and fear from everybody thinking that there would be nuclear fallout, even though they can't even see anything happening. Like we were talking about before, they'd be in the streets trying to eat each other by 24 hours. You know, I mean, that's so. I've even told my kids, I'm like, if anything like that happens, we're not going to freak out. We're gonna basically ask questions. We're gonna look around. I mean, obviously, there's things you need to do. But, as far as not being able to eat animals, I'm already set on that, you know, because I haven't eaten anything like that in, years. So, I mean, but I get, like, how that would be kinda like, um, give you some anxiety. It's not that bad, though.
Hey, I got a question. I got a question off of that, spin off of that. How many of you, how many of you have went into Google and typed in fallout shelters near me?
I never even thought about that.
Okay, well, let's just say, I live in Cape Girardeau, which is about 80 miles south of St. Louis. So, first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna look to see which way the wind's blowing, right? I can't fucking do nothing about what's going on in St. Louis. I just know it's coming my way if the wind's blowing south. First thing I want to do is I want to find me some MREs or a whole lot of goddamn ramen noodles or something. And I got to have enough that's going to last me at least 2 weeks. See, first 2 weeks are crucial after a nuclear bomb. You know, you're talking about you got your basic fallout, which is like ash that's going to hit the ground, but that ain't shit compared to the frequency ranges that are going to be in the air, right? So all those dumbasses that are going to be out chasing after TVs and trying to rob and pillage, they ain't even going to last but maybe 48 hours at the most. And then they're going to start rotting in the streets. So as soon as you come out of that bunker, that fallout shelter, you're going to look around and be like, damn, there's a lot of food laying around. And that's a fact. Anything that anything that's boxed and sealed up, it's gonna be okay to eat. So the more dumbasses there are out in the road out there that are not even going to study about what to do within the first 2 weeks of a nuclear blast, and most people don't think to even look that shit up. Well, they're gonna leave you food to eat. Me personally, I don't even know if I would want to. I know how to, but I don't even know if I would want to, survive a nuclear blast. I think I'd rather run straight for the fucking blast. I mean, and if you knew that, if you knew that bomb was coming, wouldn't your mindset be like, oh fuck it, we're here now? I don't really think there. I don't really think there'd be a panic. I mean, I think we'd be like, hell, here it is. We've been what they've been using that shit on us for 20, 30 years. Here it is. You might as well bask in the glory of it all, right? You might as well go outside and just like look up so you can see the only mushroom cloud that you're never going to see for the rest of your life, or what you have of a life. I mean, really, low key.
Hilarious.
Your thoughts on this?
I mean, you never really know until you in that situation, especially people with families. Like, like I don't have a family, so I might be the person that just sit there and watch it and just take it in, pause. But you got people that got families and they're gonna do whatever it takes to protect their family.
Yeah, that's where they fuck up most of the time, though. Really, I mean, because that they get so detached to these things, right? It's kind of like like Segura used to say. He'd be like, "Oh, his mom would get so freaked out about where he was at, what he was doing, this and that." And she said, and he would ask her, he'd be like, "Well, you say you love me, but if I was the next door neighbor's kid, would you feel the same way?" So what is the difference? What the fuck is really the difference? I mean, they're my kids. They're my kids, and yeah, I might be responsible for them, but uh, at that at when it comes to things like that, it's like when somebody dies, what is it that we get so connected to? Why do we cry? They're dead. It's not like they're gonna feel it anymore. But we sit around crying about the things that we never did. I wish I would have spent more time with them. I wish I would have done that. It's more about your emotions than it is about theirs, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
I don't
like
got no
for me,
family.
for me, see, like my kids are all teenagers now. But you know what? I done forewarned them. I'm like, do you know what would happen if there's a nuclear bomb? Do you know where to go? Do you know what to do? Have you prepped up some food? Have you prepped up some food for a shitty situation? Just kind of get yourself a jump start. I mean, that's pretty much all I can do, right? I was in
Yeah.
a prepper I was in a prepper group, right? And I mean, it was almost a militia style. And these guys were like, "Do you got maps and stuff stuffed in your kids' bags and radios and stuff for whenever they go to school and stuff, so that way you can always keep in contact with them?" I'm like, "No." So this fucking guy totally freaked out, and I'm like, "Dude, I'm still trying to live a life here without having to worry about all that shit and freaking my kids out all the time, right?" They, this, I mean, whose kids go to school carrying motherfucking maps and grid coordinates, right? How would they
Yep, in a
explain
two
that shit?
five with a suppressor though, got a 2.5 and a crossbow in the
Yeah,
backpack. Like
and I'm like, God damn, if I got to worry that much, I don't even want to be alive, right? I mean, it's good to be a little paranoid because paranoid only keeps you alive, but I mean, Jesus Christ, to the point. So I got all that shit, but I totally pretty much I threw most of my shit away. I went over the road for a while and stuff, but I think the best thing for anybody is to become detached from every fucking thing. Disconnect from everything. Everything. I mean, as far as the government, whatever the fuck is going on with Iran, whatever is going on with Trump, I mean, you're gonna get both sides of the fucking picture. You're never gonna know the truth. They want you to always feel like you're the man on the precipice. If you fall off the fucking edge, the first thing you're gonna do is try to find a rock falling with you to save you before you fucking hit the bottom. They love you to feel that way, don't they? They
yep.
and I mean, to become detached and not giving a fuck which way anything goes and just observe it, you kind of get to the point where you're like, you see more clearly about what's going on.
So, like you talk about becoming detached. So Hurricane kind of speak on the process. Like, how does a person become detached from their emotions or reacting? How does somebody, or how did you do it? How do you become detached successfully?
Well, what I did, it was just nonstop meditation, and I just like created a schedule. It was just like 3 days of meditation, 2 days of reading, writing, and exploring new shit, 1 day for exercise, and 1 day of rest. I just like kept the routine, and and just a shitload of music. I just like put all my motherfucking shit on wax. Whatever I felt, I just put it on wax, or just go to the field or go to the water and just chill. Sometimes yell, but mostly chill. But
You,
but like when it came to like detaching from people, it was just like seeing people for who they are and just making that final decision. Be like, you know what? I'm not fucking with you. I'm not fucking with you. Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you. You cool. And fuck you. I'm out. That's how it was.
dude, why? Let me ask a question. Why fuck with these people anyway? Hurricane, why? Most of them
Right.
don't even know who the fuck they are. And 1 minute they're wearing this fucking mask, the next minute they're wearing this mask, and it's like, I'm not even trying to be a part of the game, right?
Right.
If you
Mhm.
can't be more in touch with your own fucking emotions and be who you really are, why do I want to fuck with you? All you're doing is you're fucking my flow up, right?
Yup. Yup. Facts.
And and that there was this old this monk, this story about this monk. And so he had already learned the art of Zen. So when the students would come up and they'd be like, "Oh, we need you. I need you to teach me the art of Zen." And he's like, "I don't have no teachings. I have no practices." And and the student was like, "No." I mean, the student was around him for like 2 years, trying to beg him to teach him the art of Zen. And he got to the point where he was like, "Look, if you don't show me the art is Zen, I'm going to cut my fucking arm off to show to you that I'm ready to be a student." And the guru was basically didn't believe him. So the guy cut his arm off, and he's like, all right, I will teach you the art of Zen." He said,
Damn.
he said, what is it that you want from me? And the student said, I suffer in my mind, and I want you to pacify it. And the guru said, "Okay, well, show me your mind. I'll pacify it. Take it out. Show it to me. Show me where's your mind. I'll pacify it." And
Did
that's
he
the
cut off
point.
his own head or some shit? Like, show me your mind. And the nigga was like, wait a minute, what you mean by that?
Because where is your fucking mind anyway? That's your brain. Where's your mind? You know, uh, in the Kabbalah, what is it? All is mind. The universe is mental. Right? This is the
Yeah.
mind. Out here's the mind. You think your thoughts are in here? They've never pulled a thought out of your head. The only thing you're suffering is what you observe, what you pull into your brain, into what you want to be attracted to, which is just another persona, another fucking masterware. Oh, I want to be the emo. I want to be depressed and sad. Well, after a while of doing that shit, don't you become exactly what you wanted? Where's sadness, right? Where is it really? What does it take to have sadness? Well, I mean, there has to be happiness to have sadness, but you choose to focus on sadness. right? I mean, you gonna get what you observe. So it's kind of like if you've ever watched Vikings, and wasn't it Ivor the Boneless asked Ragnar about what he wanted, and Ragnar asked him how he's supposed to be, right? And he said he just wants to be happy. And Ragnar told him, he said, "Who told you that you're supposed to be happy? As if that is what is supposed to be given to you, right?" What? I mean, you think about it like this: you got happiness and sadness, you know, and you got yin and yang. Which one's sadness? Is it yin or is it yang? It'd be yin. Yin is negative, right? Yang is positive. But if you ever notice, even the yin and the yang have a prominent ring around both of them. They are both encapsulated into the whole, right? Just like male and female, just like black and white, darkness or light. See, in order to be whole, you have to have both, don't you?
Yeah. Yeah, because
That,
even in the yin and the yang symbol, even in the darkness, it has the small light, and even in the light, it has the small darkness circle. So yeah, definitely,
uh, this
definitely.
will this will blow your mind. You know, all these people talk about how remember the CERN dance? CERN, they had a black lady in the center, and she's like doing like this, and all the CERN people are like in white robes dancing around her. You remember that? And
Yeah,
he's like, "Oh
the
my God,
ritual,
that's like young ritual and shit." But
the same
but
ritual.
but all it was, and if you notice, the woman was in the center. She was in the black because female is black, and the light dances around the darkness. Everybody thinks that God is going to be in the light. When you come through the womb, you come into the light from darkness. Everybody is looking for light, as light is the information, but God said, "Let there be light." That means he had to be in the darkness, right?
Dude was like, man, I can't see shit in this month. There be like, I can't see shit in this month.
Well, that's what's fucked up, because most people that through drug use, or by and deprivation, the whole point is to get rid of all of that, isn't it? To get rid of thought, get rid of feelings, get rid of touch, get rid of taste, right? It was to get rid of all these things. Deprive yourself of all emotions, all feelings. I mean, that's fucking drug use. We're supposed to feel all these things, aren't we? Aren't we? Aren't we supposed to feel pain? I mean, how the fuck are you supposed to know what pleasure is if you've never felt pain, right? And if you're
Yeah.
one of those type of people that are totally into pleasure seeking, boy, you're in the biggest fucking struggle. You're like a crackhead, because all you're doing is running out, trying from a place of pain, trying to find pleasure. That's what your whole life is consumed by, rushing after something, chasing it. It's just trying to get your next crack hit.
There's this
Yep.
like there's this kind of like this wave of like content creators. It's I mean it's been around for a while, but it's like this black pill, topic. And a lot of people are under this impression that they feel like in order to detach, you have to become numb. So it's like, but I don't think that's necessarily true. Like,
Yeah, well, yeah. Well, no, you really do. Like I explained to you, you almost have to become. It's almost like the art of Zen, Buddhism, and all them are trying to take you to a place where you become numb to the bullshit. In a way, you almost have to become like a fucking sociopath. It's like learned sociopath. Remember me telling you that? Because what you're doing is not that you're denying emotions. You're just coming to accept emotions as they are.
see,
You're
that's what
well.
I'm saying. These people, they're not doing that. They're what's that called? Repressing. They're denying. They're actively trying to deny their
Like,
own emotions.
no, this is you don't want to deny your emotions. Well, that's what everybody's doing. When you see somebody angry and they're having a panic attack, they're totally denying their emotions. So they're not moving into a state of peace. See, the the idea is you feel an emotion coming on. So like you get fucking mad at somebody and you want to stab them. It doesn't mean that you have to act out your emotion. It means that you observe the emotion as to welcome in an old friend and be and get and maybe go into a meditation state, go into that feeling and see what's underneath it, right? Not be scared of it and run from it.
Yeah, I agree. There's I don't know if I ever asked you this question, Kelly, but all day I've been wanting to ask you, do you feel like, do you believe in reincarnation? Number one. And two, do you feel like you've been here before? I think
Sorry. It's like, dinner time over here, so it's like a lot going on over here. Um, I don't know. I almost wish that I believed in reincarnation because I like the idea of it, but part of me is like, I don't know. What about you? Did he just go?
uh me personally,
Yeah.
I'm not opposed to it, but
Yeah.
I never had a situation where I felt like, I don't know, maybe just knowing that I feel like, oh, I don't belong here. Maybe that's remembering. That's me remembering that I remember. But I never had a situation where, like these people had these situations where they're like, oh, I've been here before, and they remember I never
Mm.
had a situation like that. What about you, Hurricane?
Um, Studying the reincarnation, I had to go to other cultures that fuck with it. So it was like most of the shit that stuck out was Hinduism and I think China fuck with it. So I'm like, okay, this could be, it could be, and it could be, but at the same time, I'm thinking like maybe this is my only life, but but it's too many cultures that fuck with the reincarnation. So I'm like, okay, I'm like 60-40 on it. And like plus I never had an experience of maybe I've been here before, but I probably have. I had glimpses of seeing myself, but I chucked it up as me probably daydreaming about being in a like in a different time. But but it's never like a strong feeling of holy shit. Like I think I've been somebody else before. No, no. But I really truly think if I was reincarnated, this is my last motherfucking life. I woke the fuck up. How about this bitch? I detached myself. I'm out. I'm not coming back. I'm not coming back to this motherfucker.
You figured that part out, didn't you?
Yo.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, growing up a Christian, right? Christians don't believe in reincarnation. They don't believe that you're
Right,
coming back here. So most of us are indoctrinated with that idea, but that's not what it says in the Bible. When
right.
they when they when they asked about Elijah, he said he's been here many a times. You just never seen him. You just didn't notice he was here, right? So they'll be like, oh no, no, because he was taken up. God took him. Well, yeah, God's gonna take his soul, ain't he?
Right.
I th- See, I explained it to Low Key the other night. It's like this. Okay, so from the time a water drop leaves the water faucet, right, is the same of being ripped from your mother's womb. So then you got 70 years of downfall, one water drop. And where's that water drop? Where's it going to go? It's going to drop into back into the pool, right? And when it hits, it's going to go, bloop. And when you die, you're going to go, bloop, and you're going to realize that. You was a part of the whole anyway, but you was stuck in flesh. Most of us, that's what our problem is. We think of fleshly things instead of the spiritual side of who we are. And I truly believe, I believe that that's pretty much is gonna how it's gonna be is when I die, it's gonna be bloop, and I'm gonna be like omni every fucking thing. And then there's gonna be a point where I decide whether or not I want to play this game again. And if I decide I want to play this game again, I'm gonna come right back down a waterway and slide back into this motherfucker and do it all over again as somebody else. Now, I'm not gonna keep my memories. I'm not gonna keep what's going on here, but I'm going to start the game over again. See, that's the whole idea of Brahma, and you know, in some ideas of when God decided to create the world, right? He said, "Let there be light." He started the process. Would be the same thing as you coming into this world. So you decide to come into this world. You say, "Let there be light." God said He's the beginning and the end, didn't He? But you, as a person, you take an emotion like madness or sadness, and you say, "I'm mad." Yeah, you are mad at that moment. I is not mad ever. He's never mad. If you were mad, wouldn't it like be constant from the time you were born until the time you die? You die. Wouldn't you be just mad? Or when you just be sad, you can't be that if it's something that comes and goes. See, if anything in this world that has a beginning and end, it's not you. Same person you was when you was born, ain't you? You know that deep down in your soul, you know you're the same person, but you've changed, right? And people use that to go, "Oh, you've changed. You've changed." You goddamn right. Every day I'm changing. I'm changing into something else. But they make it out like it's a bad thing to change. But every second, you're totally someone else. There's a beginning and an end every second to who you are, isn't there? See, we get caught up in we get caught up in the flesh, but there's so many stories in the Bible. Cain killed Abel. Cain was about the flesh. Abel was about the spirit. And from that war, even okay, let's just take Jacob and Esau, right? So Jacob, he struggled with God. He was about the flesh, right? Esau was about the spirit. But it was Jacob that went into a war and wore himself out, fell asleep, and climbed Jacob's ladder, seen the angels come up and down the ladder, and said that he's seen the kingdom of heaven. He's seen where God resides, and he called the place Pioneer.
uh,
So he wasn't living by the flesh. He was living by the spirit. I mean, all of our program, I mean, all the way back from ancient time is flesh. We've been programmed in the idea of flesh. You think the Vikings give a fuck whether they die? They
right. I'm
did
going to
they
Valhalla, motherfucker. I'm going to Valhalla.
dude.
Chill with the bitches
So
and eat some food all day.
we we've all and it don't matter what color you are, we all come from a background of warriors. Half our goddamn problem today is because there's no fucking war to be found. We can't have no glory in our life, right? Go to work, come home, feed the kids, listen to the bitching ass nagging wife. It's always something like that, but it's never. There's no glory in it. There's no spirit to it, is there?
right. Right.
So
Unless you're using the mop as a sword and you mopping your house, like, yes, I'm going to destroy these germs.
yeah,
Some God of War Kratos shit.
slip and crack your head and call that mop a sword, right? And say, well, I'm going to Valhalla now.
right.
But I mean, I'm joking around with it, but you know, maybe it's some ways. isn't that why we get into all these conspiracies and shit? Is because we're looking for some form of glory and madness out of it that might settle our fucking DNA just a little bit. But underneath all of that is still our spirit,
Yep.
and that's what we're tapping to in some way. Yeah, and, you know, when it comes to meditation too, a lot of people think that meditation is sitting in a room still. Well, yeah, I mean, if that gets you to that point, but no matter if you're mopping the floor or whatever you're doing, can't you find center and all that? Isn't that a form of meditation as well?
Yep, it's therapeutic. Yeah, with a motherfucking vacuum cleaner. I don't know why a vacuum cleaner is therapeutic, but it is.
Well,
Playing
that's like
classical
when you was
music while I'm
talking
cleaning up.
about. That's like when you was talking about singularity, but can a person like for somebody that never heard of singularity before, how would you tell them to go about reaching that, especially in
Well,
this body?
well, there's something really crazy about singularity. Everything is pointing for you to find that singularity, right? You got the polarities up, down, left, right. It's like when you program a game, don't you have to put left in it to be able to go right? You got to have up to go down. For every inside has to be an outside, right? So these are all the duals of everything, right? The duality of life. But the singularity is that which creates all this. Okay, so like a hurricane, right? Perfect example. We love to name hurricanes. And it's kind of fun because in the middle of the hurricane, what is happening? Nothing. Nothing is happening in the center. They could fly a plane down into the center, the eye of a hurricane. And I'm not talking about the eye. Kind of like God said when Moses went to the burning bush and he said, "Who are you, Lord?" He said, "I am." Well, who's am? Isn't everybody am? Am is the same as is. And what is, right? It's I mean, it's everything. I is everything. I is the stillness within you. It's kind of like I heard this lady say, we've all been taught that we're supposed to go find a peaceful place to, you know, learn to meditate and find the core of who we are. And she went over to India and her guru took her right out in the middle of the city center. It smells like cow shit. People are screaming and hollering and exchanging. And she's sitting there and she's getting pissed off. And she looks over at the guru, and the guru turns around, looks her dead in the eye, and she totally fucking gets it. You don't find the center, the core of who you are in a peaceful place. You sit dead ass in the center of the hurricane. See, you sit wherever you are, you find stillness within you, right? You're giving up the game, the chaos going on outside you, the thoughts in your head. Who is it that's listening to the thoughts in your head, right? That's the singularity, right? And the yin and the yang are trying to tell you the same thing. The black and white are inside the singularity. So the singularity doesn't use words or thoughts. It's total stillness. It's total quiet, right? If you sit there long enough, there's going to be a good, clear thought that's going to come to your head from the singularity. But uh, chances are you're going to be like, God damn, how did that come out so clear, right? All my problems I've been fucking sitting here thinking about and shit. And then whenever I finally, when I become silent, it speaks, right? But just like the CERN, they was all dancing around the woman. Well, there's a video where CERN says that whenever they took the two particles and they crushed them together, they said that they could see the dancers but they can't see the invisible dancer that all things dance around, right? It reminds me of Saint Catherine of Siena. You know, she said that when God spoke to her, He said, "Woman, don't you know that you are she who is not, and I am He who is?" What's that sound like that He's telling you? He's telling you that He's the one that creates the play. He's the one that creates the dancers to do all things. And you're just the observer sitting dead ass in the center. You're the pendulum through which all things are dancing around.
Oh, that's fire. Yo.
See, I mean, when God wanted to bask in the glory of who He is, He created you. He created you. You're the pendulum for which He sees all things. You're like His mirror. See what see what I want to see. Tell me how you feel about it. You know, it's not to get wrapped up in it all. It's, you know, be more of the observer and let me see what you see.
Have you ever tapped into that this divine stillness, Kelly? With everything, you've been through in your life and everything?
I mean, well, I was gonna say, if Rich, like, if you guys could see me on there, I'm definitely nodding my head, like, yes, yes. I totally resonate with a lot of stuff that you're saying. Um, oh, sorry, I was just reading something. So, I mean, this is so cliche, but I mean, the few times that I really, to that point where you almost scare yourself. It was
Yeah.
after, right? It was, I mean, a lot of times I can do it right when I'm trying to go to sleep, but then I end up falling asleep, but I'm trying not to go to sleep. But that's when that stillness is definitely there. But after I used to do yoga all the time, and I was studying to be an instructor and everything. And after like a really great, intense class, I mean, it is crazy. Once I can see how all that stuff lines up together, as far as like a yoga practice, opening different parts of your mind and your body and stuff like that. Because the first time that I feel like I really experienced that was definitely when I was deep into yoga practice. And most times it was I liked it, but there's definitely one time where I almost got scared, like I was getting too far away from my body. But I mean, it's neat.
Awesome. Gotta love a
I
chick
can
that do yoga. Woo!
I can agree
Yoga.
I can agree with that because I've heard of a lot of people that once they observe the void and they get close to the edge of the void, they become scared because they think that they're going to fall into the void to the point that there's no coming back from it.
That's exactly how I felt. That's
But
it right there.
when you say void, is
Yeah.
that like what is that like?
I jumped in. I jumped like
Okay.
it felt like,
Well,
holy
see,
shit, this is awesome.
yeah, I mean, because see, we all see this is a part of our programming. Okay, so you was and we can all identify with this. We want to be somebody in this world. To the point that most people are afraid to portray who they really are to the people around them or their friends because they not be considered up to par. It's a social skill, right? You got to be somebody, right? But
Yep.
God, God, so you've been taught that God is a word or a guy in the sky, but God is nobody, nothing, right? He's a void. So, see, like, You was told a noun is a person, place, or thing, but you can't be a person because a person is a mask. It goes back to Latin persona. The mask that they wore in the Greek times when they would have like plays. So a person, you're not really a person, you're a thing. And you'll put the mask on. That's just different archetypes that you put off. But God, he's you, you're not going to find him, right? He's not a thing. He's nothing. No thing. He doesn't have a body. So when you're going into a void, you're going into nothing. Nothing, right? Draw a circle on a piece of paper, right? And everything's going on outside that, but what's going on inside of it is the void. Does this help you out any?
I mean, it was, I totally get that. It wasn't a scary thing like what I was seeing and feeling. It was more like all of a sudden I realized I was in the middle of the ocean, and instead of just enjoying being in that, I was like, oh my God, how am I getting back to the shore? That,
Yeah.
and then that totally pulled me out of it. And then I was mad that I pulled myself out of it.
But did you ever try to do that again, or you kind of gave up on that?
No, I mean, I try to do that. When I'll like close my eyes, and I feel like Hurricane and I talked about this one time about how can't remember what they're called, but when you close your eyes and you can see neon, like spiraling colors. I can't remember the name of it, but there's an actual thing for it. And so I'll just kind of get into that, and then sometimes I can actually, it's weird. I can start, I don't even know how to explain it. Like all of a sudden, it's like something that was fuzzy is becoming clear. But then, right when the picture becomes crisp and I can see something actually happening, then I know it's like I'm aware of what's happening, and then it goes away again. And I always wonder if that's how people have visions, or whatever, they can see things. And you just, it's like I wonder, if I could get myself to not be scared, and this sounds dorky, but like embrace it. It would be cool to be able to see what goes past that point.
It's kind of crazy that you mentioned that. I don't know if you've ever heard of the movie Inner Worlds, Outer Worlds, or you know, in one of the parts of it, he calls it Shamati. So what you're going into is called the state of Shamati. But he explained exactly what you was saying. In Shamati, he would get close, but then what he would do is he would freak out about it, and he wanted to go there, but he wouldn't allow his motions to let go enough to where he would slip off of that edge. He knew that
Yeah.
what was over the edge is something really great,
Hmm.
but he questioned whether or not he was supposed to go there or not.
And if you can get back, but
Yeah.
that's that whole ego thing, and wanting to be back around all this nonsense, which I don't even know why I would care.
And also, if you do things like that, does it leave your vessel open for like other entities to kind of hop in you?
I mean, I know that a lot of people do believe that, but I feel like either you would have to be completely unaware, and like just finding these kind of situations, like just happen upon them, which I knew enough to know what was happening. But I think that I almost feel like you have to be open to that, like in your awareness, you have to actually want something to come in. And I would never be asking for anything like that.
Yeah, don't you in some ways, don't you like think? maybe there's really not such thing as these evil spirits that can get you or take your. I mean, you're obviously your soul doesn't belong to you. So how could you sell your soul to anybody? It doesn't belong to you. You don't own your soul. It's borrowed. It's what animates the body, right? So
Mhm.
when you see these demons and shit, wouldn't they be your own thoughts, your own demon? The things that you're supposed to work
I
through
mean,
in your life?
yeah. Oh, I see it as like I would never think of it as being possessed. To me, it would be I'm entertaining it, like I'm allowing myself to let it hitch a ride, and I'm observing it and letting it do whatever. But I do. I mean, I understand where Loki is coming from because, like you said, though, it is a lot of it is stuff that we've just always been taught to fear.
Well, it reminds me of the Catholic Church, the Rosary, right? The Rosary. Um, remember how they would carry that thing down the aisles and they would smudge the
Yeah.
churches. But you know what? If you do smudging, then you're a witch.
Yep.
But they can do smudging, but nobody has come to figure out that the only reason that they use that rosary is to distract the body when they go into the meditation.
Hmm.
It's kind of like, and when they pray to Mary, right? It's kind of like it. I don't know if you've ever noticed the Lover's card in the tarot deck, right? Man is looking at woman. Woman is looking at God, right? Woman is wisdom. Sophia, was was uh, was wisdom. That's what Sophia means. Philosophy itself is the love of wisdom. And in ancient times, they knew that. They knew that to go into the feminine state of your brain, right? Because you have a masculine and a feminine. So to become vulnerable and then to use the rosary was just a form of meditation. So they was doing shit that they blocked from us, told us we was evil. I mean, wasn't it the Catholics that told you? Well, since Peter was a prophet of the Catholic Church, and since he held the keys to the kingdom, because if you remember, Jesus gave the keys to the kingdom to Peter, to the kingdom of heaven, which was a gold and a silver key, right? And the Catholic Church uses that symbol as the three rings, the papal tiara over the keys of Peter. They said since the keys of Peter, the kingdom of heaven, they had the right to lock down the kingdom of heaven. So what it was is to take away all spiritual things from you. So basically, how would you be able to lock down spiritual things from a person, but to tell them that if they was to go into these forms of meditation and stuff, that there's going to be evil on the other side?
No, I mean I totally hear what you're saying because I actually grew up Catholic, so and I never felt comfortable. None of that ever resonated with me, and I always thought it was strange the Mary worship. I was never into it.
Well, they can. In all Christianity, the woman has always been put to lower, right? I guarantee you, in no Catholic churches, there a woman that's up there preaching, right? The women have always been looked down upon, but then they'll tell you to pray to Mary, but what they really mean is uh, that you're supposed to embrace the feminine, right? See, Mary is the same as like Marina, water. Water is woman. Water is moon, right? It's the yin to the yang, which is the darkness, right? And but they would pray to Mary, but they not the women. They didn't embrace women like maybe some other cultures would. The whole idea was that they didn't want you to go into that part of meditation.
Hmm. But I also always thought of it as the idolatry. It's just if you, I don't know if you grew up Catholic, but everything is just all about Mary. They rarely ever, I mean, I don't know, maybe I'm remembering this how I want to remember it, but I don't remember them hardly ever speaking about anything in the Bible. And I actually like some of the stuff in the Second Testament. The stuff in the first is very reminds me of the Catholic Church because it's very scary, you know, like fear and brimstone. But that's very interesting though about the rosary because I mean I grew up watching people hold those and I never really thought about it like that.
Have you ever noticed? I know you've seen this picture before, but they always show a picture of Jesus holding a heart that's on fire, and
Yeah,
he'll have two fingers up and three fingers up and two fingers down,
yeah,
and that's for the male and the female. He's wearing a blue and a red robe, right? So, so the blue is water, which is woman, and red is fire, which is man.
mm,
He's saying that you have to bring the two together. He says that you must bring the two must become one in this house, didn't he?
mm,
Yeah, he said the two must become one in this house. See, you have a left and a right brain, right? One side of your brain is all logical thinking. The other side is all about exploring and artistry, and which brings me to oh, who was it? Leonardo da Vinci, which was the guy that made the picture of Jesus in the first place, right? So Leonardo da Vinci had a picture of a brain and a man touching God. So if you look at that picture, you'll see that man is laying on the ground. And he's got his finger in the air and he's touching God. But if you look real close, you'll notice that that is a picture of a brain. And you'll see God, and then you'll see directly behind him, holding on to God, is Sophia, the woman, right? And they're telling you that there's both male and female aspects to everyone, and that
yeah,
you know, we were taught to logically think everything, but uh, going inside yourself is also exploring, isn't it?
hmm,
Exploring possibilities, not being scared. I mean, even Adam and Eve in the garden, and I'm not Christian, and I've just read the Bible, and I look at things a little different than say the churches do. But Adam and Eve were in the Bible. They ate from the apple and they saw their self. They saw a body, so they figured they needed to put clothes on. Well, God God put cherubim and seraphim in front of the tree of life, didn't he? He said, "Quick, if we don't put cherubim and seraphim in front of the tree of life, then they will become like us. They will become gods." Right?
hmm,
So at that point that they ate from the apple, they got ego, didn't they? They got fear. So then they was scared to approach the tree of life. But behind all of our fears, don't we find more life?
definitely.
So
When you walk through those doors, you definitely come out
yeah,
better.
that's right. So if there's one thing that I've learned as a pattern is to face and approach all my fears. Now I can do it with a hint of caution, but you know usually whenever I decide to go through my fears, fight through my fears, I receive life. So if I'm going to go into a meditation, I'm going to be thinking about demons and shit attacking me. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to step back. I'm not going to find life, right?
Yeah, it's like I mean, not that I did this a lot, but it's like doing acid and worrying that you're going to have a bad trip. Well, then you are going to have a bad trip.
Yeah, yeah. Ayahuasca the same way. Most people that do ayahuasca, excuse me, most people that do ayahuascas, talk about going through hell, but they have to go through like hate and all these different emotions, and they go through them to the point that they get sick of hate, they get sick of fear, and they decide at that point when they decide at the point that they're not going to be that anymore, it goes away, and then they start another cycle, right? So acid's kind of, I think it's kind of the same way. And I've done LSD. I've done a lot of LSD when I was young, but if I was like uncomfortable about something, I wouldn't take no fucking LSD. But right, if something did freak me out, is like amplified, but it was just me that was doing the amplification of,
Exactly.
yeah.
I want some acid.
I was gonna say, have
I,
you ever done
I,
it?
I'll tell you about
Is
an
acid
acid.
bad?
I'll tell you about an acid trip. I haven't told very many people this, but I'll tell you one low key. So I
Tales
used to
of the
live.
trip.
I used to live down on this street. It was called Benton Street. It was on the south side of town. Well, we was renting this upstairs from this guy, and he's like, "So how long you guys think you're going to be here?" And we're like, "I don't know. We'll probably be here for about a year or so." And he goes, "If you make it over 2 weeks, then we'll work from there." And we was kind of like, "Well, that's kind of weird that he even brought that up." But anyway, this upstairs was haunted, and it was haunted. So anyway, after about a year of being there, we was tripping on acid, and we decided that we was going to move out. Well, I was seeing this girl, and I remember coming back to this house and going upstairs to pick up some things that we was going to move to our new place. And this girl comes up out the bedroom, and she's in a fucking negligee, and I thought she was a ghost or something. But she come out there and she looked like she was all flowing in a white negligee. Freaked me out. I ain't seen that girl since. She didn't want anything to do with me after that one.
Why you ain't smashed the ghost?
Dude, after
Why you ain't
seeing
smashed
that,
the ghost?
dude, after seeing that, man,
How did she
I
look? Like, was she pale? Did she have any blood on her? Was it an old negligee from the 30s or something?
no, dude, no, dude, just a big lot, like a negligee that maybe come down just past her knees, and it was kind of like, acid enhances everything to the point where it looked like she was like floating out the bedroom. And
Was
I
she
mean, I,
hot though?
I
Did she
like
have
it.
long flowing hair?
Oh, dude, she was hot, hot. She wasn't like somebody that I wanted to like run away from, but at that point, I just couldn't deny the fact that I had to get the fuck out the house, if you know what I mean.
Ah! He said that bitch was haunted. How haunted was it? Like, was like shit floating? Was like chairs moved upside down? What happened?
Oh yeah, in my bedroom, you'd close the door at night and you'd hear something dripping in the corner in the closet, and like
Oh shit!
we might be sitting in the front room, and there would be like smoke come out of the vent, and it would drift over to the other vent and then go back in the other vent, and like balls would roll across the floor, and there was like this white orb one time that held my brother down in bed. After that, he would
What?
sleep it. Yeah, I mean, there was. I'd say there probably was some people. There was like symbols and shit in the closet. So I would say that there was people that were into witchcraft or something that stayed in that house. Maybe I don't know, but uh, yeah. I
Yo,
mean,
I've seen enough supernatural episodes to know that it was something in that house. Somebody
yeah. I
was
mean,
symbols all in the closet. That's that's the first red flag. I'm out, nigga. Fuck 3 red flags. I'm out.
well, yeah.
that
I mean,
that red
I'm not.
flag right there.
I'm not going to deny. I'm not going to deny that there's something out there besides us. Now, maybe because of the shit we've been programmed with, when some people die and they know that they're fucking evil, they just decide not to, move on to a better place, and they want to fuck with people. But I don't.
Like the movie Ghost. Like the
Dude,
movie Ghost with Patrick Swayze and shit. They want to stay. It's like you gotta motherfucking feel it.
yeah,
You gotta
yeah. I
you
mean,
gotta just
yeah,
do it. The train guy.
yeah. I mean, and that's like when my dad died. When my dad died, he had this trailer. So I was out there cleaning it up. I mean, it was nice and sunny outside, and it was like fucking gloomy in this trailer. And I was like, dude, man, you're not gonna be judged for going to heaven. So what the fuck are you gonna linger around here for? and it's like instantly that whole trailer just kind of like lit up. It didn't like fill up with light. It's just like the something in that something is transition. It's like everything cleared up, the air cleared up. So yeah, I believe that there's still the things that are lingering around here. I just
Well,
don't.
well, don't they say when the flood happened, the Nephilim, the spirits of the Nephilim stayed around?
No, I believe they're around here. Yeah.
But my thing is like this, right? To somebody that, if you guys got so much enlightenment, and if you have somebody in front of you that's just basically saying, I don't want to be here anymore, I'm done. What do you tell somebody like that?
I'd be like, here's a gun, and I'll call you when the revolution start training. I need you
That's
4 days
crazy.
out the week, 2 days of meditation, 4 days of gun training. I'll call you when the revolution start. You know what I'm saying? I feel you,
Well,
dog. I feel you, dog.
if I had to sit and and observe my feelings towards it, I mean, I kind of got mixed feelings. I mean, but see, the reason that we think it's all that bad of a thing is because we've already come to the conclusion because we've been taught that if you kill yourself, that you're going to hell you're going to be damned to hell for eternity because your father is mad at you, right? That's what you've been taught. You've been taught that if you kill yourself, but what if we kill if let's just say that someone decides to kill himself, but what they find is on the other side an answer to all of their questions that they had that kept them feeling that way, and they come to the realization that, well, hey, that was your exit point. I gave you an exit point. I said you're supposed to live this life, and then you're supposed to be an angel that through your own persecutions and whatever you're going through in your life, it's supposed to change somebody else's life. And the whole idea of your own suicide was the exit point that I gave you. I mean, how do you we don't know. That's just what we've
Hey,
been
yo,
taught,
that's
right?
deep. That's
You
deep
know,
because
I
I
mean,
covered something on my HHN special report about a guy taking himself out because he wanted to get out the reincarnation cycle. I'm like, how the fuck you scientifically, mathematically calculated that? How the fuck you know
well,
that this is gonna break out the motherfucking reincarnation cycle? That shit blew my fucking mind. I forgot the guy name though, but like he made sure like there was no innocent people around when he did it. But it was like, dog,
but
took
hurricane,
himself out.
dude, that's like in the Bible. Okay, so like Ezekiel was supposed to lament against the people to change them from their ways. But the way that God gave him to do it is he said, okay, I want you to take ropes and I want you to stake yourself to the ground and I want you to eat your own shit. Well, God obviously thought, well, hey, it's okay. I'm gonna have Ezekiel eat his shit here. And Ezekiel said, no, Lord, I can't do that because if I eat my shit, that's defiling to me. And he's like, okay, well, you're gonna fall for that shit. So you know what? Considering the fact it's gonna fuck with your mind if you eat your own shit, therefore I tell you, don't do it. But
That sound like
Ezekiel,
that sound like the demiurge.
but I believe there's a lot of people that are supposed to be the perfect example of the way that you'll never choose to be. You're being steered in some ways by examples. Maybe their whole life was is to be a fuck up just so you could be like, well, damn, I'm not
I
gonna
ain't
be
gonna do
like
that
Dave.
shit.
I'm not gonna be
I ain't
like
gonna do
Dave.
that shit.
Yeah. Yeah, Dave, always Dave. Dave, man. I don't know what it is.
maybe I should. Maybe I should have led with Kelly for this question. Let me, God damn. So my question is,
But hold on, wait a minute, hold on. But Odin hung himself, plucked his eye out to gain the knowledge of Yggdrasil in Norse mythology. That was straight suicide. It was like, yo, this nigga just hung himself and plucked his eye out. Hey, yo, man,
And
give him some knowledge, bro. Give him some wisdom and give him the fuck up out of here.
but you know what was crazy about Odin? Odin is also Woden, where we get Wednesday from. They
Wednesday? Hump
That is
day.
actually the that's hump day. That's the center of the week. Center, which is also the same as Jesus Christ, and which is also the same as Horus. Horus was blind in one eye, wasn't he?
Holy shit.
That's
Yep.
right. And Wednesday and Odin was also the sign of Mercury. Now, Mercury is red, but if you cook it down, it becomes quicksilver spirit.
Holy shit.
And is also commerce. And on your dollar bill is Asclepius, and Asclepius is the serpent on the staff, right? The spirit. And on an ambulance, there's Asclepius on your ambulance. And when someone's
Yep.
dying, the first thing they do is they fire up that meat wagon to go claim what belongs to Asclepius, the spirit, the serpent on the staff. Just want to throw that in there.
Yep.
So Kelly, you still with us?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay. So in the context of a person, you can see that a person is struggling with. Listen, they don't want to be here, but you can tell that they still have work to do. You know, and you could tell that they still have a purpose. In the context of somebody just on the fence between, life and death. Like if they were standing in front of you with your wisdom, what would you tell somebody like that?
I mean, it's funny because I'm not big on the whole reincarnation thing, but when it comes to suicide, for some reason, I have this feeling that there's no easy way out. You have to go through this and you're coming back no matter what. So you might as well figure it out instead of having to come back and do it all over again. Because if you're in that much pain, you're that much closer to the other side of that door already.
That's real shit.
Yeah. Well, I will say this. I'm gonna try to. Okay, so like Elliot Hulse said it best. I don't know if you know who Elliot Hulse is. He said, "It's not that suicide is the wrong way, but to kill yourself is the wrong way to go about it because you're going through the dark night of the soul. You're supposed to crucify the ego. It's the ego
Yep.
that's giving you problems.
There it is.
See,
There it is.
now now in alchemy, you have Negretto, Albedo, Citronitas, and then you have
And chicken
Roberto.
Alfredo. What's it, Alfredo? Chicken Alfredo? Sorry
Yeah.
about that. Hold on, my bad.
Yeah, see, so you have Negretto, which is the blackening, the black of black, the dark night of the soul. Then you have Albedo, which is the whitening. You're starting to see your way through it, right? Then you have Citronitis, which is the beginning stages of you're starting to see the gold. Roberto, which is the rose, the red, and if you look at red deep enough, you'll see the gold in it. It's turning lead to gold in alchemy. It's finding the spirit within. All right.
Or the
And
philosopher's stone
the
within. Yep.
philosopher, that's right, the
Yep.
lapis Lewis, right? The Christ. It's finding the Christ within. And see, those are the four stages. Well, it's really crazy because there's tons of things out there. Okay, low key was like all these colors, right? Loki, which is the trickster god. Mickey Mouse was those
He burnt
colors.
heaven to the ground. Shouts out to
That
Loki for that.
yeah,
Asgard got burnt the fuck. Ugh.
yeah. Well, see, Loki is the same. Loki is the trickster, which is the same as the Joker. The Joker, what did he always say? Why so serious? Because he knew everything was a game. So, see, these are the tricks that are being played on you, and so then you got okay. So like if you take the Indian medicine wheel, It's the same colors through all these different cultures. They see these same colors, right? And it's stages of alchemy, which are stages that you have to go through. See, Carl Jung, uh, his mistress, oh, what was her name? Trying to say her name was Mary Louise von Fraun or something like that. But anyway, so she finished some of his work, and it was the circle. It was the great work. It was the circle, the triangle, and the square. So a lot of people have been trying to figure these out, right? She always said that from the one leads to the two leads to the three, which is basically like the Trinity. And then when you get to the three, it'll lead you to the four. And all these are wholeness. You'll start seeing the number nine everywhere. Why? Because if you have a box and you have four 90-degree angles in vortex math, they all lead to nine. A circle is 360 degrees. Three plus six is what? Nine. A
Mm-hmm.
triangle. A triangle. If you add up all the dimensions of a triangle, it leads to nine in vortex math. Because when you're finally starting to go through this transition from the ego, you start seeing these colors. You start seeing the number nine a lot, right? Because nine is letting you know that you're starting to you're coming out of it all. You're coming out of the shadow. You're transitioning. You're starting to figure it all out. But it's an ego death. But most people don't want to go through the suffering of an ego death and realize that it's all bullshit. I mean, from the court systems to you know uh, being in a structure where you have to have certain social skills, or what, you'll be shunned from everybody else. But it's all bullshit. And it's a hell of a trick to get through, isn't it?
Yup. Yup. Until you come to that point of letting go. Letting go. Letting go. Hey, you
Yeah,
fuck
I
with people,
mean,
let emo. But with that, you
every
motherfuckers don't.
like I said, most people live their life as a dweller on the threshold. You're the dweller on the edge of a cliff at night. You're afraid to take a step, because you're afraid that if you move forward, you might fall off the edge of the cliff. And for most people, that if they was falling off a cliff, even if they close their eyes and they see themselves falling off a cliff, the first thing that they want to do is they want to cling to something that's falling with them, like a rock or something's going to save them from 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 peril, right?
Yup.
So and living their life, with anxiety, you think that you got to like be a certain way around your friends, instead of saying, "I'm going to be who I am. I'm going to be beautiful," because beautiful means be you to the fullest, right? So if you are yourself, those that belong to you are going to be there anyway. That's the 80/20 rule. The 80% of the world is not like you. Find your 20% that you're supposed to fit in with. But
Yup.
everybody, see, that's the bull in the maze. In Greek mythology, they had the maze and the minotaur, the bull in the center. And you got to work your way through this maze to find out who you are. And the word maze comes from the Latin word massa confusa, which means mass confusion. So, so at what point is everybody going to be like, well, I don't really give a fuck who likes me. Those who like me are going to come, and they're going to be around me for who I am. I'm going to be a better person for not holding up a lie anyway. And most people that end up committing suicide, see, they just can't come to that way of thinking, right?
Yup. That shit wild. That shit wild.
Yeah,
But
you and
I need to
you and
talk about
Ocean.
like the moment when I was scared though. Like, like when I was scared, like before I took that leap, that fear, it felt like, like when you jump off the porch for the first time as a kid, it felt like that. It was that sudden fear. Like when I got over that, it was like, okay, cool. I just jumped off the porch. I'm floating. I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good. I ain't break no bone.
Yeah, but see, how does all that play into what's going on with Iran, Epstein, and all that shit? Right? I mean, how many times have you sit down and you watched, the proceedings at the White House? Right? It's like you're watching The Young and the fucking Restless, right? But
That goddamn Pam Bondi.
yeah, so you get all caught up in that, right? You get all caught up in that, and hey, you got to admit it, Hurricane. You get caught up in that. I get caught up in it, but and then I forget what's going on around me. See, even in anxiety, they tell you, okay, well, stop and look around you. Notice the door handle. Notice the flowers in the room, or you know what? Notice what's immediately around you, right?
Yep.
Everybody wants to save uh, Minneapolis, St. Paul per se. Everybody wants to do something about that. They're either for it or against it, right? But they can't even handle the fucking shit that's going on in their own house. They can't even deal with the shit that's going on in their own community. But they wanna be like on there putting all kinds of memes and bullshit on Facebook about what's going on 5,000 miles from here. And I mean, if you ain't in touch with what's going on in your own mind, in your own house, in your own community, what the hell are you gonna do for some Muslims?
Right.
Oh shit, Mike was on the whole time. So look, this is the last question for the night. I know y'all got shit to do tomorrow,
Shit, not
but
me.
you know, we'll let Kelly go first, and we'll go around the panel. If hypothetically speaking, if today was your last day, would you say you're proud of yourself as far as your level of consciousness, or how would you rate that? How would you feel about your level of consciousness if today was your last day?
I mean, that's a deep question. I feel like I would be satisfied that I have come as far as I could at this point. Because I feel like I've done a lot of facing and not wanting to go through certain doors and waiting years and years and then finally facing stuff. And I mean, it's definitely hard. And I agree with Rich. I think that's where people um, probably, obviously, that's where they're at when they end up wanting to commit suicide because they just can't face it. So I feel like, in the sense of facing myself, but also not in an ego way, I feel, I mean, I feel pretty good. Honestly, I would only be sad to be gone because I feel like my kids would be sad. That's it.
What about you, Rich?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with her. I mean, uh, we think about our family and stuff, and but I always tell my kids, I'm like, look, you know, if I die, I don't want you crying for me. If anything, have a celebration of life because eh, nobody knows when they're going to go, and we all think that we got to tie up some loose ends or something, or we got to fix something. But see, that's us thinking in a material realm per se. We think that, but how many times have we seen people die, and you know what? Everything ends up being okay anyway. It works out just the way it's supposed to. Some people, they get their karma. Some people, you know, they that they live the rest of their life sad because they died with that person that died, and it's like, Jesus Christ, you really think that that's what that person wanted for you? Don't you think that they'd want you to be happy and live a life? But uh, yeah, I mean, it's not, I don't think anybody wants to die. But uh, if I was to die, I can accept the fact that it's my time. But I don't want to die with like shit all stuck in my arms and I'm sedated to where I don't get to feel the feeling of death because I mean it's kind of like the frog in the pot boiling, you know. I want to know that I'm fixing to go through this transition. Besides, you know, being obliterated to where you know maybe there ain't a chance that I feel the sliding to the other side, right?
That's what's up.
What about you,
You know,
Hurricane?
you know, I'm gonna say this in the shamans would go out into the woods and stuff in Buddhism, right? And they would go back out into the woods and they would go into a state of nirvana. And nirvana meant it was the blowed out state to realize that you don't really die, that you don't have to worry about dying, right? Which is kind of crazy because they call nirvana the blowed out state, but that's exactly what happened to Kurt Cobain, isn't it? If you don't know who Kurt Cobain is, he was the lead
The
singer of
rock
Nirvana.
star. Yeah. Yeah, the rock star, the rock star. You know,
Uh,
there's some new developments coming out that said he ain't do what he did. I'm like, wait a minute, let me go down that rabbit hole one day. I'm like, wait a minute.
yeah. So they're saying that he ain't the one that entered the blowed out state on his own.
Right, yeah, you feel me? So I'm like, whoa, that's a rabbit hole.
Isn't he part of that 27 club?
Yeah, wasn't it 27?
I'm pretty
I
sure.
think
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
I know Jimi Hendrix was.
Well, they all was. They was all under MK Ultra and all that shit, right? You know, it's kind of crazy because if you listen to that song Hotel California, you know, even way back then when the Eagles come out with that song, they pretty much were telling you exactly what's going on in Hollywood right now.
Yep.
It's on you,
Oh yeah.
Hurricane. It's on
Oh
you.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh, last question. Yo, real shit, bro. This is the greatest question ever. You know, because like real shit, if I was to die now, man, for real, I got no shame, no guilt, no regret. I am satisfied like a motherfucker. Like I'm talking
You
about
you,
with a smile on my face.
you just want to die and go to anime land and meet a girl with big tits.
Either that or Valhalla. but 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 like real shit, like when it comes to like the life and the personal life and you know, like evolving and upgrading, you know, like I feel like I made it to a point of consciousness, you know, like I'm cool, you know, like I'm fully balanced. And when it comes to dealing with people, no shame, no guilt, no regret. I ain't fuck nobody over. I can look in the mirror and be like, "What's up?" and go to sleep with a smile on my face. So and plus meeting y'all, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, yeah, shit, I met some cool people. You know what I'm saying? Shit, man, I'm Gucci.
Oh, dude, that's what I was fixing to say. Hurricane from the moment you come on the show, you started your own show, and you got to be the most positive, upbeat, willing to do whatever the fuck it takes person. I I don't even think is there a depression bone in there? Do you even suffer with any type of trauma? I mean, I don't think I've
I
ever
had
met
to get
anybody
over
so.
the trauma. I had to get over it in order to be at this point. I had to get over the shit.
Dude, I don't think I've ever met anybody that can laugh shit off so good.
Bruh, I used
You
to laugh
don't.
to keep from
You don't
crying.
know.
Now I'm
You don't.
laughing to laugh.
You don't know her. You don't know Hurricane Rich. Hurricane. He be laughing while he be loading up his rocket launcher. He's something wrong with him.
Yeah, I
Something
mean,
wrong with him.
but dude, I remember you had a small channel when you first started coming on there on low key and talking with us and shit. And dude, look at you now.
Yup.
Dude, you don't stop. I don't think that there's like, dude, you'll never turn into a tin man and like have to like sit down and oil your like your little bushings and shit and make sure that you can get up because you done worked your ass off. Right? You just dude, you like the Energizer bunny. You just keep going and going. Dude,
Yup, 6 years strong.
dude, I'll be
I
scrolling.
guess.
I'll be scrolling through Facebook. I'll be like, look, here's a hurricane. That motherfucker's still going. He,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, full of energy. Dude, you ain't gonna die
Thanks, bro.
anytime. Dude, you are not gonna die anytime soon. You're gonna be like 110 and motherfucking still getting up and doing shit, and they'll be like, how do you do it? We need to document where you've been because you're like the oldest person on earth with so much fucking energy. Yeah, I can already see it. You're gonna look like one of them old black and white pictures from the past where they're gonna tell our history and shit.
Yo, you're the last revolutionary. Yo.
All right, well, look, man, I appreciate everybody making time. Shout out Kelly, Hurricane, and Rich T for coming on the show tonight, and everybody in the live chat for chiming in on the conversation. I got any last words before we get up out of here?
Yep. Keep your head up, keep that bread up, keep your self-awareness up, spatial awareness up, protect your energy, protect yourselves, protect your family if you got it, and keep your gun up if the government run up. Block, 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 block. Fuck the government. And catch me at Hurricane JW2 on YouTube and Facebook, home of the Fuck the Government podcast in Detroit After Dark. You already know what it is. HHN Special Report.
Motherfucker, look at there. Energizer Bunny done went off on us again, dropping bombs and shit.
You got any last words, Kelly?
I I mean, and this is kind of I don't know if you want to do this, but I'm curious how you would answer the question that you asked us.
Oh
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
I'm super proud of myself. Shit, because when you spawn into this, and then they call it the cards you were dealt, right? So me, I should be a fucking narcissist. I should be codependent.
I
I
think he
should
was
be.
for a little bit.
Hey, not saying I
You would,
wasn't.
I just watched you go through the dark night of the soul. I'll guarantee that's what you were going
Well,
through.
I'm gonna keep it a bug with you. I've been going through that for the last like almost 10 years. I've been waiting
I ain't mean to
for
laugh, man,
this.
but I've been going through that motherfucker since I came out the womb too, nigga.
Like
I'm like, nigga, I
so,
know.
like people don't understand. Like you think, oh, it's just a year or two. That Dark Night of the Soul shit,
Dude,
bro.
you might need to change your name to Floki instead of Loki.
All I'm saying is, when you finally come out the other side, it's like, God damn, you know what I mean? So that's why when I tell people, I'm like, yeah, you stuck, you got tunnel vision right now, but when you finally come out on the other side, it'll be worth it. You know what I'm saying?
You had an ego death, didn't you?
I had 100 of them. I had a
Oh
thousand
yeah.
of them.
Well, Alan Watts used to say, and he would explain this as the robber in the apartment. When you move into when the police come in, the robbers the first thing they do is they want to go up to the next floor. So a lot of times when you think that you're confronting your ego or you're trying to reach a superior point, the ego tries to act superior. So when you think that you've gotten through it, it was just another game the ego was playing on you, and it's probably what you was going through.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what Carl Jung said. Like the spiritual ego will be like, yeah, what up, though, nigga? You thought you upgraded. Nigga, come back here, nigga. Let's dance again. Oh, bitch,
That
I gotta fight another ego? My spiritual
yeah,
ego? I thought I was
yeah,
the
yeah,
shit. Okay,
and
I'm not the shit. I'm about to be the shit now after I beat your ass.
Yeah,
That's exactly what he would say, and you would get into these buzz modes like, oh, I'm enlightened. And it's a time when you said that, oh, I'm so enlightened, you should say, no, no, I'm not enlightened. We got a lot further to go. And then the ego will
Yeah,
catch up. It will be like, oh, you done caught on to my game.
hmm
yeah. I'm giving him the
Yeah.
hands. Like, what's up? What's up?
and like I said, it's. I learned that it's all about your perception or your perspective. And
Yeah.
once I realized, yo, I have to like become the I have to observe this shit. Just because I'm observing this shit don't mean I gotta like give, you know what I mean? Like play, it's like a play. Just because I'm watching the play don't mean I gotta be in it. You know what I'm saying? Just because I'm observing some shit, I'm witnessing some shit doesn't mean I have to participate in it. And then once I
Exactly.
made that connection, I'm like, you take your power back. And that's what I try to, teach people that I care about. But me and
You remember?
Hurricane, me and
You
Hurricane made
remember?
us, huh?
You remember? I used to tell you, you're the most powerful thing there is. But the thing is you have to realize they tricked you out of believing in the power that you have, and now you're getting your power now.
Yeah, that's where you get your power from when you detach, when you just make that connection, you know? And so me and Hurricane, we made a song, and that was kind of like the concept of the song, that we were proud of us, just, our spiritual ascension. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's a badass
Because
song, really.
a lot of people, the average person not going to be proud. The average person not going to acknowledge your spiritual evolution. They don't, you know what I mean. Their ego won't allow them to be in a frequency of gratefulness for themselves or for somebody else.
Yeah, I mean, you ever
Yeah.
notice like Eminem did that in a way? When they showed him and he was like doing his raps, and instead of like them talking shit about him, he talked shit about himself. So there wasn't really a comeback that they had on him because he was like, yeah, I'm the most fucked up individual in the world. What do you got on me now?
Yeah.
Can't nobody, when you keep it real with yourself, can't nobody keep it real.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Can't nobody hurt you.
yeah.
So
When you finally say, yeah, most people in this world are suffering their somebodyness. Fuck it, I'm gonna be a nobody. That's where it's at. Ain't nobody gonna remember me in 1,000 years. So what the fuck do they care what I do? What do I care what I do? I'm just
They gonna
I'm
remember
gonna.
me. They're
That's
gonna have a
right.
statue of me. They're gonna have a statue of Hurricane with the revolutionary AK with the golden gun on
so yeah,
Yeah.
that's my answer. Kelly, you got any last word? Other last words?
Uh, just everything we talked about, I like, and I think I've told you this before. I actually like being accountable, because I feel like it makes me face things that no one else is going to face for me. Um, I don't know how to. Just when he was talking about that thing about nobody's going to care, I agree with that. But at the same time, a lot of growth is with accountability and like looking back at yourself and seeing what you're doing.
Yeah, but you also. It's good to look back and have accountability, but you don't want to get to the point that you suffer what you've done, right? Yeah, I fucked up and I got to beat myself up about it. Uh, no, you did this in a moment and you corrected it and you move on.
100%. Yeah, I'm all about like don't have resentments, don't hold things in, like get it done and then move
Yeah,
on. Yeah,
yeah,
that's
Yeah.
more what I
Yeah,
meant.
because like some Christians whip themselves and they cut themselves after having gone through that shit.
Mm.
Like, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
you know.
one. I will tell you one thing that I had to work through is my victimhood, right? So it's kind of like I heard a lady say, we wake up in the morning And we have to remember, okay, well, this is what's been done to me. This is how I've been wrong. And then we go out into the world and we have to validate that by looking for, see how they're going to wrong me. Instead of saying, well, that's all the past. It's not like I can pull it out of my pocket and show it to anybody. Uh, but if anybody is wronging me, it's me wronging myself by looking back at it because I'm my own victim when I sit there and stab myself daily about what somebody might have done to wrong me.
Yup, yup. And I
Yeah.
kind of blame myself. I'll be like, you know what? I blame myself for even putting myself in this interaction. Let me
Yeah.
get the fuck out of here.
So yeah. So I
You
mean,
know,
I don't look at
take
anything.
accountability, yup.
Yeah, I don't look. When something happens, I don't look at it now as. I don't take it personally. I look at it as, well, that's just the way this person is. It's not like they're trying to do me wrong. It's what can I learn from this situation and move the fuck on, you know,
Yup,
and let the shit go.
yup.
I mean, I'm sure we can all look back at parts of our life and something happened to us and we could hold that shit up every day and say, yeah, see, this is why I'm not further along in life because of the things that happened to me and the way I was wronged, right? So then what do? We go out in the world and measure it by the other things that are going wrong and how it's affecting us. But
Yeah,
for
that
everything that,
sounds miserable. Yeah, I agree.
yeah, but
Yup.
so and it's a lot of what we do with a lot of things that are going on in this world. Instead of saying, you know what, that it's not a problem. It's just waiting for me to come up with the solution, right?
Yep.
Yup.
It's all how you look at it.
Yeah, exactly.
We gotta get
And
you.
you know what the greatest thing about this conversation is like this what the philosophers did back in the day. It's like no debate, no argument, just people sharing philosophies and perspective
No, there's no
and just,
ego.
just awesome shit. Like this what we done since ancient times. And I'm glad we still can keeping it up because like everybody else is part of.
This is that. Well, this is a lot of shit that what we're doing is we're becoming vulnerable, and we're becoming vulnerable to help each other out. This is the way I see it, and if I can make you see it, but I'm being vulnerable, I'm giving up my sacred space to show this to you, then we're being as fucking honest and raw as anybody could ever be because nobody likes to show their own vulnerabilities.
For real. This is the only time I can calm down from my revolutionary and news talk. Cause like this what I do outside of that. I'm like, shit, I can finally calm down and fucking chill.
Yeah.
Put down the
Hey,
flaming sword for a day. Like, let's
if
chill
there's
for a
one,
minute.
if it, dude, if there's one thing I know, we've been doing this for at least 5 to 8 years, but we're okay. We're gonna be okay. No matter what the fuck shit they throw at us or whatever happens, we're gonna be okay. It's
Yeah,
never
play
got
my
to.
Leonard Skinner. Play my free bird when I go out this bitch. I'm going out to free bird, Leonard Skinner.
That's a Leonard Skinner now.
Yeah,
But yeah, I mean, we've been freaked out over Donald Trump, over Joe Biden, by Barack Obama. I mean, dude, we've been doing this shit. It's like, oh my God, this is it. This is gonna be it. And look at us. We're okay. We're all okay. We're laughing about it now. So we should just have to keep that pattern of realizing that it don't fucking matter what they throw at us. We're gonna be okay tomorrow.
yeah.
It's
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 the
gonna be
end
okay.
of the world as we know it, but I feel fine.
And there's
That
so
song,
much
I feel fine like a motherfucker.
and there's so much fucking truth to that world that song because he says as we know it, which means
Hmm.
just it's the end of the world as we perceive it, right?
Yup.
But it doesn't mean it's the end of the fucking world. It just means things are gonna change. It's gonna be the new norm. We'll figure out a way to loophole
Hmm.
that shit, right?
Yup. Observe, adapt, and overcome.
Bingo.
All right, man. Let's leave it right there, man. I appreciate y'all making time, and we'll catch y'all on the next one. All right.
All right, love
Yep,
y'all.
yep. Peace.
Bye.
All right, be safe.
Yep, yeah. Much love, everybody. Keep doing that yoga, Kelly. Keep doing that yoga.
Okay.